Bill Cole, thank you so much for joining us today.
My pleasure. Thanks for coming.
The first question that we want to ask you is, you're here for a town hall, and the town hall is for good paying jobs. Just explain to people that weren't able to be here today what exactly you mean by that and what your goals are.
Sure. Well, first and foremost, we have to get West Virginians back to work, and we have to get them to work in good paying jobs. West Virginia is the only state that has ever fallen, since they've been measuring it, that's ever fallen below 50% workforce participation. That's the percentage of age able-bodied citizens that are working, and we're at 48%, and that's simply not sustainable. We have to do the things that we've begun legislatively under my leadership for the last 2 years to advance the cause of creating an environment in West Virginia that's conducive to the job creators, the ones that are already here, that could expand and put more people to work, as well as ones that we might lure in from out of state. So we have to continue down the legal reforms and the regulatory reforms and make sure that we get our state to be a place where they want to be. Now, do we have other things to do? Certainly we have issues with providing an educated, ready-to-go, drug-free workforce. We have infrastructure. We have to hit them all at one time. We don't have the luxury of picking and choosing. But West Virginia could be and should be one of the richest states in the nation, and that's what we need to move towards.
The budget crisis, what is the answer?
The budget crisis, I think there's multiple answers. Just like anybody would handle their own household budget, you want to maximize the opportunities of money coming in. And when I say that, I don't mean raise taxes. I mean put West Virginians back to work. Then you have West Virginians paying taxes. You have businesses that are thriving that are paying taxes. So we need to raise the revenue, but we also need to take a fresh look at state government. We need to review the mission of state government. What does the state government have to provide, and then what do we want to provide? And make sure that just like our budget at home, we can't spend more than we have coming in, so we have to prioritize. We have to get behind the good programs. One thing state government never does, they don't measure success. They simply measure conformance. So we get a bunch of agencies and departments that don't produce anything, but they still continue to suck taxpayers' dollars out of that budget and continue to just be self-sustaining. We need to measure results. What's your mission? What are you doing? And how well are you doing it? And where we're not doing it right, we need to fix it.
Let's address the elephant that was outside the hall today. There were some protesters. They've made themselves known at each one of your events that you've done here in the Ohio Valley. A lot of them are upset with your stance on prevailing wage and right to work. You did have some words that you said to the crowd today about the protesters that were on the street. What's your message to them tonight?
You know what? I want every one of them to have as good a paying job as they possibly can have. I want them to have a job, for starters, and so many of them don't have. As we look at right to work, when I talk to them one-on-one and I explain what it is, it's not me being anti-union or pro-union. It is simply this. It is workplace freedom. A worker will have the choice of whether he wants to pay union dues and be associated or not. Now, what will that drive? That'll drive the union to prove value. And so they're going to have to work hard to prove value so that member can choose to be a member or not be a member. At the end of the day, a worker will be the one that wins. His union's either going to provide him more, or he's got the opportunity not to pay the wage. But I don't care. Let me move to the prevailing wage, because there's a real good tie-in to our repeal of prevailing wage. Now, everybody said the world's going to come to an end. No, I believe in the free market system, and it made this country the greatest country in the world. So letting the marketplace set rates, not arbitrarily setting them, I don't see anything at all wrong with that. Our construction jobs, they measure what state has the most additional construction jobs by the month. A year ago, we were 47th in new construction jobs in this state. A couple of months ago, we had moved to 15th, 17th, somewhere in there. And last month, we are #1. In the state of West Virginia, we have put more people to work in construction than any other state in the union. I'm awful proud of that. We have a construction boom going on in West Virginia right this minute. And you know what? There's union workers working in that, and there's non-union workers in it, and I don't care. But you know, the free market set the rate, and on these state-paid jobs, we're getting the most bang for our buck for the taxpayers, and that's what's important. But listen, I said it would become a jobs program, and lo and behold, months after it takes effect, it is a jobs program. Construction always precedes economic growth and development. I'm telling you, I think we're right at the edge of being able to move this state forward and do it quickly. We have additional work to do. We have regulatory reforms. We move from 48th to 50th in most regulated states. It takes a governor that's willing to go in and clear the path and get the overburdensome overreach of state government out of our companies, our workers, our citizens' face. They need to be there simply for the good, safety, and welfare of our citizenry, and otherwise we have laws on the books that'll punish bad guys, punish the offenders. But state government needs to partner with business, not be an impediment.
Your opponent, Jim Justice, has stressed the importance of jobs, but he's also stressed the importance of tourism. He's been cited numerous times to say that he wants to bring a Dollywood-type facility to West Virginia. What are Bill Cole's views on tourism?
We have one of the most beautiful states in the whole nation, and I think we underutilize, I think we undersell, I think we underinvest. And I'll tell you what I did do. Governor Manchin had taken the courtesy patrol because highways was having trouble with money and tourism had a lot of money and shoved it into tourism. I did remove that and put it back in highways where it belongs, and that reinstituted $3 or $4 million a year that tourism didn't have. I do believe in advertising the quality and of life in our state, the beauty, the mountains, the rivers, the lakes, and it's an opportunity for us going forward. I hope we have a Dollywood, but I think I'd rather focus on the things that we already have going for us. We have ATV trails all over the place. We have, we have whitewater rafting. We have camping. We put the Boy Scout Reserve in, and we're using it for so many other things. I think West Virginia has great untapped potential, but not only with that, we have great untapped potential in our agriculture area, in timber. If we get the right president, we can reopen the opportunities that we have within our fossil fuels industries. But we have a lot going for us. We just have to get out of our way. We need a leader that'll lead us down the right path, that'll do the tough things, the heavy lift, and we'll make this state great.
Yeah, you kind of opened the window there, so I'll make this my last question. But polls have shown that West Virginians overwhelmingly support Donald Trump. So where do you stand on the candidate, and how do you feel about his campaign, maybe some of the rhetoric, and maybe what he stands for?
Well, I think probably the same as many do, but I've met the man personally a couple of times now. I've been on the stage with him. I've spoken with him. I've spoken for him at the event in Charleston. I was one of the speakers before he came on. I strongly support him, but the reason I support him is because time and time again, in this state, out of this state, all over the nation, he continues to bring up West Virginia coal miners. We'll put our coal miners back to work. And you know what? There are ways that the federal government can put our coal miners back to work. They can get the overreaching EPA out of our hair, but we can begin to invest federal dollars in clean burn coal technology that we can utilize in order to keep the lowest cost of energy, coal and natural gas, providing our seniors power, people on fixed incomes that their power bills are going up. We're going to start hearing terrible stories. We make our businesses uncompetitive because we don't provide them a low cost means of providing energy. I believe the role of federal government can be to partner with the WVU to let us be the world leader in clean burn technology, and then help us build a power plant or two that demonstrates exactly that. The first ones, the prototypes are always the expensive ones, but then you can come with a model that's repeatable and sustainable around this world. Listen, you know, at the end of the day, the things that are going for or potentially going for West Virginia, it's a long list. The things that are working against it, it's a relatively short list. It's not an easy lift. It's not an easy task. It'll take tough decisions from our governor and through our legislature. But West Virginia's worth fighting for, and I intend to lead that fight from the front. If I have anything to say about that.
President Cole, thank you so much for your time. We really appreciate it. We look forward to seeing you again before
Thank you
November.
so much. I promise you I'll be here plenty of times.
Thank you.
Thank you.